How do I tell my fiancé, 26M, that I, 24F, hate my engagement ring? Hello. I'm not quite sure how to summarize this best. But I hate my engagement ring. My fiancé, Rick, and I met when I was 19 and he 21. And have been together ever since. We've had our disagreements, but for the most part our relationship is harmonious. The problems began with COVID, I suppose. Rick was raised in large part by his grandparents and loved his grandma more than anyone. No complaints from me. She was an amazing woman. She passed away abruptly, though, in 2021 and left everything to Rick, her only grandson. It was a decent sum of money and allowed us to take more time off during the pandemic to be with each other and out of harm's way. But most importantly, she left Rick a family heirloom, her mother's and hers engagement ring, which I had never knew about. Rick and I have been talking of getting married for a long time, and have picked out a Pinterest board full of ideas which he knew about and had access to. He's known that my dream engagement ring was a simple, thin, silver band with rubies, and that I never wear gold jewelry. Rick proposed over Christmas, while all of his family were there. And while I was initially thrilled at the proposal, as soon as I saw the ring, part of me withered. But by that point his mom was crying and aunts and uncles were congratulating us. So I put it on, and vowed to talk about it later. But I can't seem to find the right time. Every time I mention the ring, Rick brings up how much it meant to his grandma and how he misses her. So it never feels right to blurt out that I hate it. It's not a minor issue, either. The ring is heavy, gold, the size of my knuckle, with, in my opinion, gaudy diamonds and other gems. I don't want to seem ungrateful, but I just find it so very, very ugly. What do I do? Any advice helps. Less than 3. I mean, you may be able to broach it gently along the lines of, since this is a family heirloom, I would feel much more comfortable keeping this someplace safe, and using a store-bought ring for day-to-day wear, so that if something happened we know her ring is still safe. I also used a ring passed down from my grandma, but I took the diamond and reset it on a silver band. Hers was gold, and added some smaller diamonds to make it different. I thought it was a nice compromise. Maybe something like that can be done with yours? Good luck. How many grandchildren did she have? Maybe you can suggest that it pass around the family as the proposal ring. Remind him that you had a preferred style, and while you love the idea, you don't love the ring. The cousin who last proposed, your BF now, has it for safekeeping after you both pick out your forever ring, and the next one who proposes gets it from him. Then it can pass to the great-grandkids, etc. Tell him you want an everyday ring because you don't want to harm this ring. It can be a special occasion ring. It means a lot to him. People do lose rings if they wear them daily. I can't imagine he would forgive you if it dropped down a sewer grate or got left in a public bathroom. Tell him ASAP and make that point. And then gently mention that it's also not your style, so while you love him and what it means to you both, and it will always be your engagement ring, you would like to buy something else for you to actually wear. My ex proposed to me with his grandmother's ring after we had picked out a very specific ring together. He knew how much this certain ring meant to me, and I had even joked in the past about refusing to marry him if it were a different ring. I understand the sentimental value passed down rings have, but I had to explain to him that his family's ring had no sentimental value to me. And yes, I personally do believe engagement rings are a big deal. To some, it's how you ask to spend the rest of forever with someone. And it shows that you listened and knew what your partner wanted. I never got the ring I wanted and didn't say anything about the ring I was given. And it caused some resentment, in all honesty. Am I shallow? No. I don't think so. Because I expressed my wants and we agreed on it beforehand. Seems like a minor inconvenience, but it just showed me he didn't listen, and especially something involving our marriage. I don't know what kind of advice to give you because I never figured it out myself. But if it's a big deal to you now, it will be a big deal in the future. You won't learn to love it. Every time you look at it you will feel the same way. The only advice I can give is to not let this build up and have a conversation about it now before you couldn't even get me the ring I wanted, is thrown into an argument years down the line. Best of luck. Absolutely tell him. Just sit him down, and in the kindest way possible rip off the band-aid. Tell him how excited you are to be engaged, and that you know how special the ring is, blah blah blah, but it's just not your style. Tell him you guys can keep it for your kids or whatever, but you really don't feel comfortable wearing it. Just do it. It might suck and he might be sad, but you're the one that has to wear it. If I was in your shoes I would probably feel the same. There are very few pieces of antique jewelry I like, and definitely can't stand big chunky rings. I need to wear gloves all the time, and anything that gets snagged would drop me insane. I've seen heirlooms reset into a modern setting while keeping the basic design. Is it a ring you can make into a lower profile setting? Or adjust the stones and have less gold to make it a sleeker fit? I would approach it as I absolutely love the history and stories this ring represents. I want to wear it every day, and I don't want it to get damaged or be in the way. Would you be open to seeing a jeweler to lower the setting and make sure the stones are secure? Quote, a good jeweler will be able to keep the integrity of the ring's design. Use the materials already from the ring and redesign it. You could potentially have enough left over for a wedding band, either for you or for him, which could be cute. I think he meant well with getting you the ring if what you said about him missing his grandmother is true. But you shouldn't have to wear a ring you don't like. It's definitely something to have a conversation about, even if it might disappoint him. It's a bit of a concern that your fiancé knew that you have a Pinterest board with rings on them, so he knew that you wouldn't like this ring when he proposed. And he's been bringing up the sentimental value every time you try to mention the ring? That seems deliberate. It seems very much like he's aware that you don't like the ring and was aware you wouldn't when he proposed. There's a comment on here from a woman whose ex proposed was a ring she disliked and her ex knew she would, and that action predicted the marital issues they would go on to have. I would approach the conversation from that angle. I want to talk about marriage and what our marriage is going to mean to us. I'm concerned that I've spent a lot of time before our engagement already doing research on Pinterest that has already become overlooked in our life together. When someone proposes, usually they chose a ring that symbolizes the relationship, the couple, and their shared love. Now I know how important your grandma is to you and how much it meant to you to receive this ring. I love that. But I'm worried that in proposing with this ring you chose the ring that meant a lot to you over the ring that represented us as a couple. I had told you my preference for an engagement ring was for a silver band with a ruby stone. I completely understand if you had talked to me beforehand about changing this to your grandma's ring to respect her. But I felt like the ring we had discussed would represent our love. The designs that were on our wedding Pinterest were changed, and I was just expected to be okay with it. And that's what I see when I look at this ring now. I don't see a ring that represents your love for me. I see your family heirloom that I was expected to love, even though you knew it wasn't my style because it was important to you. And I worry this is going to symbolize our marriage. Could we compromise? Could we repurpose some of the gemstones onto a design that you know I'd love to look at every day? For the rest of my life? So we can both see this ring and be happy? Or save this ring as an heirloom for the next generation? Quote, "Babe, I love you and I want to marry you. Part of that is having a token of our love in a ring. I appreciate the history and sentiment of this ring. But it's not at all my style and honestly makes me kind of sad. Can we either reset some of these stones in a setting that I like or buy something else because I want to honor your family but I really can't see myself wearing this on a daily basis." And as a side note, I doubt he's that sentimental about it. I think he's being cheap. Free engagement ring that has absolutely no redeeming qualities for my GF, but hey. We are engaged. Problem solved. It almost seems like he knows you don't like it, but he is making you feel bad so you don't complain. You can honor his grandmother and that ring in other ways. I think it's important to say you'd like your own. I also hate gold and anything chunky when it comes to jewelry. This sounds like hell. I'd say something like, "I love that this ring honors your grandma and I'd love to honor that in another way. But I've been really looking forward to having my own engagement ring and I'm not too keen of having this one as my own." You could also mention your Pinterest board and how you really don't like gold jewelry, etc. This is clearly about more than just rings. It sounds to me like you don't feel heard, seen by him. He hasn't shown that he really knows you by giving you a ring you actually want, choose. He, on the other hand, may be thinking more about his grandmother that he misses and excited to welcome you into his family by giving you something from his family. I may be off in my interpretations. But whatever the real deeper issues are that are coming up, figure out what your deeper unmet need is here and talk to him about that. Give space for him to explain to you what his thoughts, feelings are about the ring and what it means to him. Start your marriage off with honesty. And try to come up with something that meets both of your needs. You say that because of its worth and sentimental value. It terrifies you to wear it. You would prefer it for special occasions only. And a simple one for day to day. Maybe just make plans for the wedding ring. Buy the ones you like and then after the wedding you are not wearing this one, but wedding one instead. And be happy about the engagement. The ring is really just a piece of metal. You could tell him the ring is too special to wear all the time because you don't want anything to happen to it and suggest you get the simple band you want for everyday use. My parents divorced and my dad had his wedding band made into a ring for me. If that's something that could be a choice, maybe talk to him about having her ring made into something you'd like. So sorry you're going through this. Be honest with him. Ask for a slimmer ring for everyday use and keep this one in a safe. I would also be reluctant to wear a big ring for everyday use. However, one thing I can assure you. Things like your ring. How perfect and specific your vision for your wedding and marriage ceremony is all nice but as hard to accept as it is. It's a brief event. Reality is actual married life. The ring and the wedding will soon pass. Keep a healthy and positive outlook during this process since not everything will go well or how you want it, but it shouldn't cause problems before you are even married. The wedding isn't what's important. It's what comes after. Cherish your happy and healthy relationship and take care of it and don't worry too much about all the details. Being married comes with plenty enough obstacles. Also, congrats. If you haven't already, invest in couples therapy early on. Even if your relationship is going great. It has helped friends I know a lot. Best of luck. This is so meaningful to you. I can't accept it. I need you to have it. I would love to do something special with this to memorialize it and keep it in our home in a special place. I absolutely don't feel comfortable wearing it around with me, as its value is irreplaceable to you. I would love to get something separate and simple that I can wear in public that will be meaningful to us. Can we talk about redesigning the ring together? I know this means a lot to you, so I'd like to have it incorporated into an idea that's part of us and something that's personal to us. These are the styles I like. What do you think will work with the ring? Let's see a jeweler and they can offer an expert opinion, then we can work towards blending the history and my style.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.